Good medical care was hard to come by in the 19th century, when it was available at all. In 1898, Dr. Charles W. H. B. Granville, newly arrived from London, opened a medical office in Niles. Granville claimed himself a graduate of Marlborough College of England and a graduate of an unnamed German college. He boasted of a long career across Europe, with cures that supposedly attracted worldwide attention and, quote, bordered almost on the marvelous. Granville's practice was located in the 200 block of Main Street. Newspaper ads announced,
"All forms of chronic disease successfully treated in men and women. Electric treatments for rheumatism, nervous exhaustion, general debility, weak nerves, and fits."
He also advertised surgical treatments for cancer, consumption, catarrh, piles, deformities, dropsy, and paralysis. Granville employed static electricity, which he claimed could cure rheumatism and headaches in just 2 minutes. To build his reputation locally, stories appeared in print describing his supposed heroics. One told of him nearly being struck by a train while traveling through a snowstorm to treat a boy with typhoid fever. Another claimed he cured a Dowagiac man who had not walked without crutches for 4 years. Granville was even called a surgical wizard after reportedly removing an ovarian tumor from a woman whom doctors in Ann Arbor had declared untreatable. He purchased Niles' first x-ray machine, which cost upwards of $1,000. Townspeople lined up to marvel at this amazing technology. By July, the celebrated Dr. Granville had decided to expand and open a hospital. St. Luke's Hospital was incorporated with Dr. J. B. Green of Mishawaka as president, Granville as medical superintendent, and Dr. Arthur C. Probert as secretary and treasurer. St. Luke's advertised a staff of 50 physicians with various specialties, including eye care and dentistry, assisted by skilled nurses. Surgery would be performed in an operating room which was, quote, completely germ-free. St. Luke's occupied the old Colby mansion on the west bank of the river, which had recently been vacated by another doctor. How did this new venture gain a staff of 50 right off the bat? Letters were mailed to doctors across the region, offering an official St. Luke's Hospital certificate for a $5 fee. The ornate sheepskin certificate was meant to impress patients and boost business. Doctors from as far away as Chicago, Detroit, and Lansing reported receiving the offer, and some discovered their names listed as hospital staff without consent. One Chicago physician even questioned Granville's credentials, noting he had never heard of Marlborough College. Granville doubled down, though, claiming that both he and Probert were graduates of the, quote, well-known and ancient institution. Official complaints soon followed. By January of 1899, only Granville and Probert remained on staff. They rallied community supports, including esteemed Niles physician Fred Belknap, who vouched for Granville's medical skill. Granville insisted that the hospital diplomas cost more to produce than the fees they charged. Not soon after, the Michigan Board of Health took notice. Granville denied wrongdoing and vowed to defend himself before the House of Representatives if necessary. He and Probert filed libel lawsuits against the Detroit Evening News and the Lansing State Republican. Both had accused St. Luke's of being a diploma mill. After Granville traveled to Lansing to defend his institution, the State Republican printed a retraction calling St. Luke's a legitimate business. But eventually the truth emerged. It is unclear whether St. Luke's Hospital ever treated a single patient. Both Granville and Probert were charged with fraud, leaving behind unpaid bills for renovations to the mansion-turned-hospital. Reports soon surfaced of additional scams by the unscrupulous duo. In Bourbon, Indiana, Arthur Probert launched a lock manufacturing business, organized a pickle factory, and solicited investments for the Farmers Bank of Bourbon. All fraudulent. Investors lost everything. One former partner went after him with a club to recover his losses. Probert was described as an intelligent man who used his talents for deceit and seemed to, quote, cast a hypnotic spell over his victims. In Illinois, tales circulated of the notorious Christian Hospital in Chicago, backed by Probert and the Wood Investment Company. Probert later surfaced in New Mexico, wanted in Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Colorado, and Wisconsin. All of this finally caught up to him as he eventually served time in New York's infamous Sing Sing prison. Dr. Granville faced his own scandal, an investigation for bigamy. He had not come directly from London as he claimed, but from Wisconsin, where he had recently married a wealthy widow named Elizabeth. The couple soon moved to South Bend, Indiana, where Granville opened the London Medical Institute. When that business failed, he relocated to Niles and boarded with another wealthy widow, Annabelle Hans, whom he also married. When Elizabeth discovered the truth, Granville dismissed her as insane and tried to bribe his landlord to keep her away. His witness for her supposed madness? None other than trusty Arthur Probert. After the St. Luke's scandal broke, Niles residents followed the exploits of Granville and Probert as they continued to defraud people across the country through fake banks, medical schemes, and more cases of bigamy. Editorials mocked them.
No doubt, when Gabriel with his brazen trumpet summons the host of the dead to judgment, Probert will arise from his grave and ask for more time and a $100 bail bond.
Another quipped,
The patient who goes to St. Luke's Hospital, if Dr. Probert is still involved, had better keep an eye on his liver, or Probert will number it among his assets.
So, how were so many people deceived? At the time, no laws existed specifically prohibiting diploma mills, though Michigan quickly enacted such regulations after the St. Luke's fiasco. Consumer protection laws were also limited, and newspapers were filled with questionable medical advertisements, such as,
How to break a cold? After exposure, take Foley's honey and tar. It stops the cough, heals and strengthens the lungs, and heals consumption in early stages. Don't worry, it's safe. Sold by all druggists in Niles.
Try laxative bromoquinine tablets. 7 million boxes sold in 12 months. Cures the common cold in 1 day. The flu in 2 days.
Radway's pills. Cures headaches, loss of appetite, indigestion, liver problems, dimness of vision, pain in the side, and chest or limbs.
After St. Luke's closed, the property was sold to W.W. Dresden, who turned it into a lovely private home. Niles residents breathed a sigh of relief, eager to erase the infamy of the fake hospital. What was the home's ultimate fate? Well, in 1925, the Plim family bought the house and transformed it into a legitimate community hospital. First called Powhatting, now Corwell Hospital, still serves patients on the same historic site.